is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Beautiful are the feet of those who come in the name of the Lord. Spreading good news to the earth in the name of the Lord. Declaring his kingdom come to the glory of God. Adonai, Adonai. My Adonai, Adonai, you reign forevermore. My lovely Adonai, Adonai, to the one who was and is to come. You are my Adonai, Adonai, who reigns. Oh, he's coming again to take us to a place we're passing by. We're ready to spend eternity with you. He's coming back to take us to a place we're just passing by. We can't wait to dwell with you, What and is and is to come. You are Every eye shall behold you, and even death that pierced you. Every knee will bow to the soon coming King. We call you
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again, everybody. It's another great day for us to be together on Empowerment Hour with me, Gilbert Samba. We are live. We are just about to have a great, awesome time in His presence today. Every moment in God's presence is always a blessing. So I want to encourage everyone as you come on. Let's share this link out there and send it out and invite people and bring them on because we are about to have a very, very important discussion today. As you hop on board, just get yourself ready for this conversation because I bet you it's going to be mind blowing. It's going to be remarkable. It's going to be memorable. It's going to be memorable today. We are talking on a very crucial topic. It's been trending around. It's been going around, and it's been a big topic of discussion lately. Record labels and gospel artists. That's where the problem has been lately. We've seen a lot of that online. We've seen a lot of that agitation going on. We've seen some, back and forth happening in this particular space, in this area, in this music industry, with regards to all of this. And so today we want to sit down and talk about this in the open space, just like we do here, and have some frank conversations, very honest and frank conversations on this subject of discussion today. And it is my hope that as we go through this, we would approach this with open minds and open hearts, because it is something very, very important. Today, I have a guest who is not just someone talking from head knowledge or what they feel, but it's actually someone who is in the field, who is in the industry. He is a record label. He is a record label, and we have some serious questions for him today. Hey man, we're gonna put him on a hot seat today. So let's come on. I see a bunch of us jumping in. And when you just say hello to us, let's know where you're watching from. And our guest will be joining us in just right now. He's getting into the studio and will be joining us right on. But do us a favor to share this link, send it out, and let us get ourselves ready, because this conversation, this, like I said, these are things that we have to be very honest about. We cannot ignore the realities of these conversations. We've seen, I chatted with someone lately, and I said we've seen a very big name amongst us, a very big popular name, Mercy Chinwo, came out lately, cried on a video, expressed her own point of view of the things and the disgruntlement that she has felt lately with a record label that we all know very well, and that has gone on for some time. And so it's about time we really ask some honest questions. And we've seen some people coming out. We've seen ministers of God coming out there. I saw a minister who was preaching around, and he was even of the opinion that Jesus is a record label. So why should you sign under a record label? So we have all those questions here today, and we want to be honest and ask those questions as they are, because we have to get to the bottom of this matter. Please, we have to get to the bottom of this matter today. So please, let's get all this sent out. Yes. We see you all coming in. Welcome, Sister Amel from Houston, Texas. Good to have you joining. Send this out. I'm sure you got some singers, gospels, song ministers. Send them this link. Send them this link right now as our guest is coming in. Let's get them on, and let's have that conversation today. You're free to come on with your opinions. You're free to share your thoughts. You're free to share what ideas. The question is a big open question. It could be a big yes or no question, and we could get to the details. Should gospel artists avoid record labels? What do you think? What do you think? I see a bunch of us coming in. Thank you, my beloved brother. Thank you all that are coming in from Europe. I see you all jumping in. But we have to talk about these. On your part, what do you think? Just let's get that rolling, as we want to build this audience a little bit, gather this audience, and get our people coming in, because we don't want anyone to miss on this today. The moment our guest comes, we will just be running on this. He's right, getting himself in the studio. But we want to get the audience to build up a little bit. So let's send this out and tell people to come on, because this is going to be a blessing. But from your point of view, what do you think? From what we've seen recently, we saw Mercy Chinwo. I'm sure every one of us here, or most of us, must have seen the video where she came out crying, made so many statements. And we also saw the record label, Easy Concept, also came out and also gave his own side of the story. So there's two sides of the story, and we want to sit down today with someone who is a record label, the CEO of Ablaze Music, and we want to hear from him. Should we, as gospel artists, should we even be signing under record labels? At the end of the day, there's always what they always start with a contract. Let's sign a contract. The big question is, should Christians be signing contracts? That we're gonna throw all of this today at Mr. CEO. So he's gonna come on a very hot seat tonight, and we are not sparing him because we have to get to the bottom of this matter, And I think he's ready for all these. We're not gonna mince our words. We are just gonna throw it out as it is. But for you right there already in the audience, should we, as gospel artists, should we song ministers, is there a need for us to sign under a record label? Should we be having those contracts? And what are the details of those contracts? What do they write in those contracts? And is it all about money? Is this thing about Jesus, or is it about money? Mr. Record Label, are you seeing, how do you find people? How do you get people to come on? How do you sign artists under you? And what is your goal when you're signing an artist? Is it about the spreading of the gospel? Is it about spreading of the good news? Or is it about profit? We're going to ask all this today. We're going to ask all these. Is it about profit? And what if the song minister comes on? Because a lot of times these gospel artists are under these record labels, and in the initial stages, they are just naive. They are novices. They don't really know anything. And you're presenting them with a contract, and they don't even understand what the contract means. They are just excited. You've just signed them up. You told them you're going to produce them. You're going to market them. You're going to do everything for them to spread the message that they have. And they come and sit right there, and they are signing something they don't even know. What if 2-3 years down the road, their eyes are open? They now understand better that, hey, this man is milking money from my name. What should they do? Is there a right way to break out of a record label? What is the right way? What if the person, to be honest, these are things I have faced myself because I've organized conferences and I've reached out at some point to get a minister. I can call 2 big names. I've reached out from GUC, and when I reached out to him, he sent me back to the label, Easy Concept. I've reached out for another name that I wouldn't want to mention, and they all sent me to the same place. We spoke, we chatted, and they said, you know what, I cannot tell you anything. Go to, and then you go to their producer, to the record label, and man, the list of things they are giving you, the amount of money they are charging you, and the class they have to fly, and then the people that I had to go back to GUC. I said, are you aware of all this? He said, well, I cannot discuss none of that. So there's a lot going on with record labels. So, let's start the conversation. Do you think we should even have that? Do you think we should have that? Should we have record labels, signing gospel artists, or this is all about business? I think, let me get a comment there from Marcelo says, where's Marcelo at? Let me get Marcelo's comment. Marcelo says, what? It's about business? Let me get that comment here. But let's start the conversation, okay? Let's start the conversation. Should we have record labels as gospel artists? Should we be signing under record labels? Should we be signing? Or we should just, do our thing for the gospel? But let me pick those comments right there. Want to welcome you all. Let me see a bunch of people that have come in here. Of course, our brother from Switzerland. Thank you for coming in. Marcelo says, music now is about money. That's a big one right there. Sister Lillian says, yes, Christians should sign contracts, but make sure you understand the terms of the contract. Okay, powerful. Thank you, of course, Pastor Anita Eta. We have a hot one in here today. Minister Lena says, hi to you there from Ohio. We have a Marcelo. We need to talk about Christian record labels owners too. I think that's what Mr. Julius fits in. And we are going to throw it at him today, guys. We are going to throw it so hard at him today without any reservations. And Sister Lillian, true, they are very naive. That's the reason. That's true. That's the reason they are being exploited. Mr. Maturin, welcome. Because these contracts are written with very technical terms. And to be honest, I bet you that if Mercy Chinwo knew at the time when she's having this disgruntlement, if she knew at the beginning of the contract, I don't think she would have gone the way she went and all of that, But like I said, it's both sides of a coin. It's not just one side. And like I said, some of these guys, when I try to reach out to them for conference and programs, the things the record label will tell you, it's like Marcelo said, it's pure business. It's pure business. You're asking yourself, really, is this what this is all about? And there are some of these artists who are not into that. They don't want to be that. They don't want to be a part of that. They don't want to be a part of that kind of deal. They don't want to be part of that business, but they are under you. We recently have a Minister Ebuka songs break out of what's his name and just left. And people are saying many things and all of that, but they cannot really understand the details of it. We have many questions we cannot understand. All these questions, and our guest is already in the studio, just smiling there, waiting for us to chew and throw it at him. He's ready to take it all in. But let's bring him on. Like I said, these things are all around us, and I'm happy with the reactions that we are getting. Let's throw it in, and as the guest comes on, let's bring all the questions that we have. So let's make welcome our guest for today. That is the one and only Mr. Julius C. Welcome on board, the one and only CEO of Ablaze Music.
Thank you so much, my brother. How are you doing today?
I am doing very well, but we already heated up. I don't know if you're ready to take this, but we are ready for some real talk today.
Man, I think that we're going to be having a great time today with so much to learn, so much to talk about. So I'm really glad that you had this set up and organized. And these questions you are asking are very pertinent. And I know the internet is trolling right now with everything that is happening in Nigeria. So we're going to be educating ourselves a lot tonight. And man, this information is also going to stay on this platform for those who are not able to connect to be able to get to watch later on and learn so much. So I'm ready for you, sir. Let's go. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
All right. Great. Let's get to know who you are. What is Ablaze Music? Who is Mr. Julius? A quick introduction right there.
All right. So really simply, my name is Julius T. I'm originally from Bamenda, Cameroon. Cameroon, of course, in the northwest of Cameroon, the country Cameroon. I was born there. I grew up there, went to school over there. And then, of course, did my university studies in the University of Boyer. Shortly after that, I left for the United States. I've been in the United States going on a decade now. And, I do so many different things, right? We run a TV platform called Ablaze TV. It's a gospel TV platform where we connect, inform, and educate people. But most importantly, one of the things that we do is we're into what we're going to be talking about today, right? I run a record label called Ablaze Music. Ablaze Music is a supernatural, profound worship record label. Currently, we have a few artists, and you all know the work that we've been doing. That's why I'm really interested in the conversation we're going to be having today. So yes, as a music executive, I think that I have some knowledge, not a lot of it, just a tiny little bit of knowledge that is very pertinent that I would love to share on this topic. And I have done some in-depth research on it, and I believe that as we communicate and talk today, we're going to learn so much. In a nutshell, that is me. I am married to the most beautiful woman in the entire United States and Cameroon, Dr. Shalom. She's probably watching right now where she is. And then, of course, I am blessed with a lot of amazing persons around me, friends, family, and all of that. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Yes, we know those big names. Wonderful wife right there. And of course, everybody knows Maureen Forba, everybody knows Grace Forlu, and the many names that you have under your record label.
That is correct.
What is a record label? Let's clear our minds here because we are just confused. We hear so many terms out there. What is a record label?
All right. So that's a very important question. And I believe that you're asking that question because a lot of people don't even understand what is a record label, how record labels function, and all those little details. So really simply put, I want us to talk about gospel labels. We're going to talk about record label and gospel record labels. I want us to be very specific on that tonight.
Yes.
A gospel record label simply is a music kind of like a music company that operates in the same way as a secular record label. I want you all to state that the difference between them is the gospel and the secular. Now, the only difference is that gospel will focus on Christian music, while secular focus on non-Christian music. Now, many gospel artists make a big mistake most of the time when signing with a gospel label, because they assume a lot of different things. They assume a lot of things. Now, I'm saying this to really give you a clear definition of that. Now, since they are Christians, they believe that they will not be cheated. They also assume that since they love God, they believe that they will not exploit them, right? You're an artist, you believe that, hey, since I love God and all of this, I believe that I will not be exploited. Since it's the gospel level, they will prioritize my ministry over money. That is what is always in the heads of artists when they sign this. But now let me tell you all the truth today. Gospel record labels are into business. They are in the business of music production and distribution, the same way as a secular level. They have contracts. They have a revenue. They have what we call revenue split. They have what we call ownership rights, which means that if you sign a bad contract with a gospel label, they will own your music, they will own your brand, and they will own your revenue. So it's important for you to understand this. So now, which means that a gospel record label or a record label is a music company that is in the business of music production and distribution. It is strictly business. They may have definitely other goals and things attached to them. It could be in any order again, but they have a primary reason, which is to make a profit. It is a company that is out there to, of course, exploit talent. And of course, when they exploit that talent, they develop that talent, they produce that talent, and then they distribute that talent. In a nutshell, I can say that is what a record label is.
Powerful. I like the honesty and the frankness in how you put it. It's like a music company, but key, it's in the business of music production and distribution. I underline the word there, business. Yes.
Right. I'm not going to sugarcoat the words today. I want us to be real. We're going to have
definitely.
I think Pastor Gilbert, that we've all seen so much and we've all grown so much, right? And it's about time that we don't sugarcoat things. We call a spade, and we nail things on the head exactly as they should be. A record label is a business. It is a company that invests money. It's a company that invests resources and industry expertise, right? They're putting the industry expertise into an artist or into the music career of an artist in exchange for a share of the earnings that will be generated as a result of the profit that will come from that artist's works.
This is going to be...
Sir, this is a business. A record label is not a church. Pastor Gilbert, it is not a church. A record label is not charity. A record label is not a ministry organization. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a structured business. Again, it is a structured business that seeks to make money through the music industry. I want you all to understand this. It means that many artists think that a record label is just like a group of passionate music lovers who have come together with the intent to do music and support them. No, nothing works for free. Pastor Gilbert, if my money cannot make me a profit, then I'm not going to lend it to you.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes, let's push it further. I want to recognize everyone coming in tonight. Thank you, Mama Mercy Teba. Thank you. Of course, I recognize a bunch of you already. Dr. Ofundem right there. And of course, Ngu, of course, a bunch of people coming in. Thank you so much. This is powerful. And I like the honesty, like I said, because we have a bunch of song ministers watching here today. And you are telling us this is all about business. Let's go a little bit backwards to find out, how do you record labels? How do you trace talents? How do you find someone? What do you explain to us? Because if this is business, then we want to understand every business needs some investments. What are your investments? What do you go through to find an artist? Tell us what you go through so that we can understand when you're talking of business, we can know that, hey, there's some investment that has been made and there should be a return on that investment. How do you find people under your label?
I really like that question, right? And the reason why I like that question is because I also want the public to really understand this, because consumers of gospel music or consumers of music in general are passionate, are very passionate, and also equally very emotional. And so they always follow as they feel, but they don't understand what happens in the background. So now the question is very simple, and I'm going to be very direct with it. What does record labels go through to find, clean, and release an artist in a nutshell, right? Now,
Yes.
Pastor Gilbert and my friends listening to me right now, a lot of gospel artists always think that the record label just signs them from nowhere, just because you're beautiful or you have a beautiful voice. I'm going to just sign you and get you into the studio, record songs, and you become famous overnight. No, that is not how it works. Before a record label officially releases an artist into the music industry, they go through an intense process. That intense process involves number one, scouting. They have to scout. Number two, cleaning. Number three, training. Number four, branding. Number five, investing. And then the number six is marketing, the marketing aspect of it. Now, this is why a record label will never sign an artist because they can sing well in church and all that stuff, right? I always call it a well-calculated business move. You have to be very invested and intentional about it. And I'm going to break it down for you all step by step. Number one is what I call talent scouting. Now, finding the artist. Finding the artist is always the beginning stage of this, Pastor Gilbert. And a record label is always on the lookout. So right now there's a competition going on in Cameroon called Gospel Star Search, right? I'm on there. I'm on the lookout. I'm scouting for something very unique. I call it the next big thing. Now, they don't just sign random people. Record labels don't just sign random people. They're looking for a talent that can be packaged, marketed, and monetized. Now, when you look at that,
Wow.
now the question would be that where do labels now find these artists? Now, in a typical gospel setup like the one we are in, Pastor Gilbert, we're going to go to places like church and gospel events or worship events. That's where we start finding them. We're going to be on social media. We're going to trust recommendations from industry people, right? And that is exactly the kind of places that we go to look for these people. Now, what are we looking for? What are labels looking for? What will I be looking for? Number one, a unique voice. Meaning that, Pastor Gilbert, you can give me 10 singers, each of them within 5 seconds. If each of them pick a song, 5 seconds each, I'm going to know if I want to have that one in the label or not, because of something that is very, very important called a unique voice, a unique sound. They want an artist whose voice and style can stand out in the market. Very, very important. So for me particularly, I'm very rigorous in that process because your voice have to have something. If I must use an example of Maureen, for example, Maureen may not be the most talented singer in the world, but she has a unique voice, right? So when you're listening to her voice, you can hear some natural tones, some effects. You can hear some normal, something that is not the normal voice out there. Now, I can be singing. The reason why I don't sing is not that I don't have a good voice. My voice can be good, but it's not unique, a unique voice. Number two is marketability. Pastor Gilbert, very important. Now, marketability, the question I always ask is this: can this artist attract a fan base? So we look at a lot of those different things. Will people want to listen to them? Because there are some people who are artistically very attracting, while some people are not. So now we have to look at the marketability. Then number three, stage presence. Can they perform while in front of a live audience? We look at all of that. Number four, ministry versus business balance. Something I call ministry versus business balance. With that, Pastor Gilbert, what I'm saying is that we have to look, is the artist going to sell? Are they only focused on ministry, or do they understand the business aspect of the music? So we have to look at that balance. And it is important for us to also understand that a label, Pastor Gilbert, a label doesn't just want a singer, they want an artist who can generate revenue. Money is important in this thing, and we cannot keep it aside. So even if you are anointed and powerful in worship, even if you are loaded, a label will be looking at it from the perspective of, okay, if we sign you and we meet these kingdom goals, can you also be able to meet the business goals of that company? That is very important. So now from there we go to step number 2, which is cleaning and developing the artist. I'm sharing this with you, Pastor Gilbert, because I'm driving somewhere and I want everyone that is watching to get this knowledge. Now, my friends, once an artist is signed into a label, the real work begins. And people don't always understand this. When a label scouts an artist, Pastor Gilbert, what happens is that artist has a good voice, that artist is unique in that voice, and that is very good, as we've already established. But that artist has no platform, that artist is not known, that artist has nothing. That artist is like a newborn baby that is just born with a talent, but with no development. So if you see my music contracts to my artists, I call it an artist development contract for some of them. And so depending on the stage that they are, so I can terminate an artist development contract. I call it like this because, Pastor Gilbert, once an artist is signed, the real work begins. Many artists think that a contract means that you are instantly going to blow up overnight. No. And this is where the most change happens. And I want you to pay attention to this, sir, because I don't want anybody to miss out on this. Number 1, we still take them and we do what we call vocal and music training if we are not satisfied with where they are already. Now, most often than not, they can already sing. They have been leading worship in their church for maybe 5 years, so they think that they are very good. But in the music business, there is something that we're looking for that is not how well you sing and scream at church. So we have to coach you. So we got to get you a coach. We have to put you in line and balance you and get you. So which means that a label might pair the artist with a vocal coach to refine their singing. Very important. Number 2, a label may help the artist develop a signature sound that fits with their current, or that fits with them currently, to be able to make them popular. Because let me tell you something, being able to pick an artist, Pastor Gilbert, and identify the type of songs, the genre of music that fits the portfolio and the personality of that artist is very key to the success of that artist. And that is where the expertise of a record label comes in. Number 3 is that they will teach the artist how to harmonize, how to alip, how to sustain notes properly, how to have that stage presence, and how to deliver, in events and all those different things. All of those is well calculated, planned, and taught. So the artist goes through all of these things. Then number 2 is what we call image and branding makeover. Image and branding makeover is very, very big, Pastor Gilbert, because when they grow up,
this sounds like real investment here.
I know. And as they're growing up, Pastor Gilbert, what happens is that they dress well and they come to church, they just tie their hair anyhow, they put on this one anyhow. They don't understand certain dynamics that comes when it comes to just branding. Colors, how you mix colors, all those different things, outfits, styling, all those things, getting on a flyer, the type of flyer you're on, putting something on social media, what to put on, all of those, I classify it under what I title image and branding makeover. So, Pastor Gilbert, a record label often change the artist's appearance entirely to fit a professional image. Now, they do this by doing a heavy investment on branding. Number 1 aspect they focus on is what we call a wardrobe change, a complete wardrobe change. It means if we have to burn all your dresses, we have to burn them. That's why you cannot see an artist wear the same dress 10 times. There's a problem. 5 times, even 5 times is a problem. You get? So we have to do those, which means that they may upgrade how you dress for performances, for photo shoots, and public appearances. Number 2 is what we call social media rebranding. Before we met you, yes, you had a Facebook page, but we have to rebrand everything from the way that you speak on social media, how you articulate yourself, how you make posts, all of those things. So we may go in there and we even delete old posts and start afresh by putting new content completely to present a.
This is real school indeed. Yeah,
Because
we are
you have
having
to
a school
present a
time here.
real polish of who you are. We want the public to see you for you. We want the public to see you for who we are preparing and grooming you to be. And then the next is even the hair. The hair is very big, especially for women. Of course, for men it's important, but it's easy to get a nice haircut for not too much. But the women, you have to get them on a nice hairstyle and makeup. Everything is structured to fit the brand that they are building around you as an artist, Pastor Gibbet. So this is all very important. And I want gospel artists or aspiring to be gospel artists to understand these things, because all this work is done in the background, and what the public sees is the finished product. Now I'm going to give you an example, Pastor Gibbet. When you get into a restaurant and you order a nice plate of Cajun chicken Alfredo, they come and serve it in front of you, and it looks so appealing and so desiring. You are excited to eat that, but do you understand that for the chef in the back of the kitchen who prepared that food for you, he went through an entire process that did not take just that day. They had to go somewhere to buy the spaghetti that was produced somewhere. They had to get the tomatoes, get the onions, get the Alfredo sauce, get all the ingredients. Now they put the ingredients on top of the table, but yet you still didn't have an Alfredo. Then he went into work and he started doing the right measurements. There was the right measurement of the Alfredo sauce, the right measurement of the salt, and everything that was put inside to give you the now finished Alfredo that you eat and say, oh, the food was delicious. I give my reviews. So for you to go on Google and put a review on that food that you just ate, Pastor Gibbet, there was an entire process. That process was so difficult that in your 15 minutes of salivating over that food, you forgot the process that the food came from.
Yeah.
Are you getting it? So that's very important. Now, number 3, we're going real fast. Number 3 is something I call stage for performance training, right? Stage performance training. Now, most artists, especially in the gospel milieu, before they even become gospel artists and all of that, before they even think into getting into that, they have never understood what it means by stage performance. They have been singing in church, in the choir and all of that, right? They feel that because you stand from this side of the pulpit and you run to this other side of the pulpit, you are performing. You dance anyhow, you shake your body and all those things, right? That is what we call informal performances. Now we have to be intentional about it. And when an artist has to perform on stage, everything is intentional. Everything is planned. Where you stand, how you move your hands. So if you see them, if you look at my artists, for example, when they're singing, when they're moving their hands and you see their hands moving, Pastor Gibbe, let me be honest with you, that is well planned and well thought of and well practiced. Not mistake. They know exactly what they're doing. The standing postures, right? When Grace is ministering, for example, she's not careless on stage. She knows exactly what she's doing. So she is so conscious that she knows how her face twists. She knows how. That's why some people, when they hold the man and they start singing, you are hiding your face. You don't want to see them sing because the way they have twisted their face is something else. So you have to learn the art of mastering your art so that you can control the way your face twists. Let your nose be so bent in a way that people are not.
We're coming to where is God in all of this, because I notice my people here, they're asking, where is Jesus in all of this? We are coming. Let's keep going.
We're going to nail it, guys. Then number 4 is what we call songwriting and music development. Songwriting and music development is really, really important, Pastor Gilbert, because we always focus on, yes, God has given me a gift, but we don't fine-tune the gift. We don't develop the gift and all of that. Because the truth, Pastor Gilbert, is that you are only as your level in life is determined by the amount of knowledge that you have. Knowledge is everything. When you know better, you do better. It means that show me an artist who has good songs, and I will show you a reflection of the depth of the word of God and the knowledge of the word of God that they have inside of them. Because the knowledge of the word of God inside of you will determine the depth of your lyrics. And so that's what, my God, that is why, Pastor Gilbert, I always tell artists, if you are a singer out there, why not go to a Bible school and get theologically well trained so that you become a sound preacher of the word? Because a sound preacher and somebody who has studied and understands the dynamics of the word of God is equally an exceptional songwriter, because they are able to reflect the word of God in the power of the lyrics. And I don't know if you're understanding me. So it means
Perfectly.
that
This
if
is
the
good.
artist
Yes.
doesn't write now for record labels, if the artist does not know how to write their own songs, the label is going to be able to now hire songwriters to write songs for the artist.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And that is why, and I'm also going to say this now to quickly address something. We you know, we are very we're very religious people, Pastor Gilbert. We don't believe that God can give you a message and I sing that message.
Come on. That's right. So true.
Yes. So, oh my goodness, oh my God, now I'm already
This is
feeling it. I'm
good. This
feeling it.
is,
I'm feeling it. Pastor
yep,
Gilbert, now
yep,
let me say
that's
something
right.
to you. Let me say something
Come
to you
on.
that's going to blow your mind. Pastor Gilbert, we have different talents. There are
Come
5
on.
different folds of ministry. We have different talents. My talent can be singing, and your talent is songwriting.
Yes, I agree with that. 100%.
So
Totally
you
agree.
can write the song and have become the mouthpiece. That is why Moses and Aaron, Moses was a stammerer, but Aaron was a talkative like me here. So he could talk from Monday to Thursday and not take a breath. And that is why he came to compliment Moses.
Yes.
So it means that I'm completely using this opportunity now to demystify that myth that, hey, the song that I'm writing to sing, God must give it to me. So that's why sometimes you have an artist come down and say, sir, in my inbox, I have this every day. So the Lord is laying in my heart that I should give you this song I should give you this song so that you hear and see what God is telling me. That so God is saying that, and I listen to the song and I'm not interested. It's nothing. It's hallelujah. Jesus is Lord. Jesus has conquered. He has risen. That's it. You get what I'm saying? There is
Very
no
shallow.
depth in it. Now, it
Yes.
means that, now I'm not saying that the person did not hear from God. Now, the reason why you're unable to interpret the message that God gave you is because you don't have knowledge. So go for knowledge, go for the word of God, study it, understand it, be educated. So when you are educated enough, you can interpret even the revelations that you get from God, so you can be able to write good songs. Number 2, if the artist is a songwriter but lacks structure, Pastor Gilbert, they will be trained on how to compose music that is commercially viable. Pastor Gilbert, I say this, the song that you come and teach in your local church on Sunday morning is not a song that is commercially accepted. So we have to be able to study to show ourselves approved. There's a reason why a medical doctor has to go to medical school for 7 years before they can do even a small C-section, so they don't kill somebody. So if I can go to, if my wife can go to a medical school for 7 years just so that she can be that exceptional, why can't we go to a music training school of some institutions or somehow where we can get properly trained so we're exceptional songwriters? But because we have the church mandate upon us, we now think that we can stand on that platform and cut corners. No, Pastor Gilbert, anything that rises fast also falls down fast. There is due process, and you must go through your process. Step number 3 is this. There is what we call recording, production, and music video. Recording, production, and music video. Pastor Gilbert, once an artist is polished and ready, after the artist is polished and ready, and it's time to enter the studio, then another phase of the work begins. Now, number 1 is called studio sessions, right? I've worked with tons of studios. I used to produce a song in Cameroon and master it in the US. Now, not all artists don't even know this. Some of them don't even know this. Not all studio producers are good mix and master producers, which means that you can produce a song and it's well produced, but you need another guy that is so professional in mixing and mastering to be able to mix and master that song for you, which is very, very critical in this. I have produced lots of songs that I mixed and mastered here in the United States. I've mixed and mastered in Nigeria. I've mixed and mastered. I've produced in Cameroon and mixed with and mastered with another producer. It's normal stuff in it. So you have studio sessions. 1. So the label will hire top producers to record and master the artist's songs. Number 1. Number 2, they will guide the artist on how to deliver vocals professionally. You see, sometimes we're in the studio. No, how about you go this, approach it this way, and all of those. Even if the record label representative may not even be professionally fit to do that, they hire a professional to guide the artist to do that. You see that?
Wow.
Number three, if necessary, they will auto-tune and refine the vocals for a cleaner sound. So it's a lot of different things. We pay a lot of money for just this to be done. Why? Because a label doesn't just want a song, they want what we call a hit. Number two, it's called what we call music video production. Now, that audio production and studio we talked about has cost. It's not one day. Sometimes it's back to back for a month for one song to be ready. You have you have to get the bass guitarist to come and do the bass, the solo guitarist to do the solo, the pianist. You bring different musicians to put their instruments. In a song that you don't need that, the producer can program everything. In a song that you don't need that, but in a live recording, for example, all the musicians are there. You know, you do all of that. You're paying for those studio sessions. Now, mind you, this is still the development phase of the artist. You are still pumping in money. Number two is what we call music video production. Pastor Gilbert, there are reasons if I choose. Now, everybody listening to me right now, I don't know if you're seeing our YouTube, but I don't know how people are on there. Are they on there, Pastor Gilbert?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. Yeah, we're on YouTube as well, the Empowerment Gospel TV. Yes. But
Excellent.
I can't see YouTube now. Yeah, of course, Facebook. Yes, of course, we are live on Facebook.
Great. Now, I'm saying this because this is very, very important, Pastor Gilbert. Everybody listening to me right now, if I ask you all to go to YouTube, it's my word. I don't want to disappoint you. If I send you to YouTube, go listen to this song by my artist. I don't want to disappoint you. So because if I disappoint you, Pastor Gilbert, it's going to take me a while to undisappoint you.
Yes.
So it means that I have to be very intentional about this. So that is why branding for me from day one, excellence is very important. If I'm sending you to YouTube, it's because I want you to go to YouTube, and next time I tell you that Pastor Gilbert, go to YouTube, you say yes, sir, with no argument, because you know that I will deliver for you. Now, in order for me to do so, there is a very important aspect of it. After I've done my audio is good to go. It's called music video production. That thing costs money. It is not cheap. Now, let me tell you the truth. Every video I have shot has not costed me less than 1.5 million francs CFA, so $3,000.
Every single video.
Yes. If it has been cheap, where it's because this guy is my friend that we know each other, has been $1 million. But that has not been true. Everything it has been cheap. It's that's $3,000. Every single music video I have.
And all this is being done by the record label. No 0 francs, $0 coming from the artist. Nothing is coming from them. All of this is your investment being poured into them.
That's correct.
I want us to follow along. Yes.
That's right. Which means that a label will spend thousands of dollars on high quality music videos. They're going to select, because you select locations. Pastor Gilbert, you go and select a location and then you rent the location. So apart from paying the money to the video director, when you find the location, some video directors find all of that and it's all inclusive. Some you have to do by yourself, right? Just depends on those. So you pay the set locations, you pay the directors, you pay the stylists. So the person that will style the artist's outfit, you've paid. You've paid for the artist's outfits. You've paid all those makeup and all those different things, the cinematographers, all of that, you've paid for all of that. Now, the artists will also be coached on how to perform in front of the camera. So you got to get someone that knows how, hey, come on this way. You got to do this way. Why? Because visual appeal, Pastor Gilbert, is everything in music. What you see is everything in the music industry. A high quality video makes a song more impactful. Really, really important. And that's why the Nigerians, for example, are really trailblazing, because they don't play. Number 4 is what we now call marketing and promotion. We're about to round up on this. I took some time on this because this is where all the wahala started. This is where all the crazy starts. You get. Now, marketing and promotion. Marketing and promotion is another phase. This phase takes money like crazy, Pastor Gilbert. I tell you, the first year I got into the business and I invested in this and I got to this phase, I was like, God, how did I find myself here? Did you really call me to do this? And I realized that, you know what? You gotta go. And I didn't understand that when it comes to marketing and promotion, The artist is now fully trained. Their song is recorded. The music video has been shot and is edited and is ready to go. But before they are released, there's a marketing plan that we put together. We come up with a marketing plan. In that marketing plan, there is structure to it. Number one, you have what we call digital promotion. Under digital promotion, Pastor Gilbert, you have what we call the label is going to push for the song to be on all digital streaming platforms. Digital streaming platforms are things like Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Amazon Music, Deezer. Those are all digital platforms. We make sure that we partner with them. So Ablaze Music has a partnership with digital streaming platforms through the middleman brokerage called, like examples of them are CD Babies, DistroKids, all these guys. When we partner with them, we're able to give that audio to them and then make sure that that audio is distributed in all the digital platforms across the world. There are hundreds of them. If I was to do that work, I would not be able to do it one by one on all of those. So I have to go through a middleman who has already networked and has that contract. So CD Baby takes that one song and distributes it and has an agreement with you for your right. We have paid CD Baby and all those guys to be able to distribute that song for us. And we've paid them to pay these people to keep the songs in their stores for a lifetime. It means that when you see a song I have on iTunes for a lifetime, it is not for free. It was paid so that that song can stay on there for a lifetime. It's very important to note that.
Yeah.
But two is that we're going to run different ads on social media to engage a large audience, right? We're going to schedule interview and press releases. We're going to do what we call radio and TV promotions. We're going to pay bloggers. I used to make a list of, say, 25 bloggers or 30 bloggers, 50 bloggers, and I pay each and every one of them to distribute a song, to be on the bus of a song. Now, imagine that you paid a blogger just 20,000 francs, $50. That's $50, Pastor Gilbert, and you have to pay 50 of them. That's how much? You see, that's a lot of money you get.
Yeah.
Now, that is the cheapest that they will take. And that blogger that is taking that $20 is not going to give you the traction that you need. If you want to hit some big numbers and go with bloggers, like in the case of Cameroon, you have Mimi Mefo. You go to Mimi Mefo, she says it's 80K. What you going to do? If one post she makes is 80,000 francs. So if you pick top 5 blogs in Cameroon and you pay them 50,000 francs averagely, that's 250,000 francs to make one post only.
My goodness.
So if you have to do that non-stop for 7 days, you see the millions that hit you? That's how it is. Now, radio and promotion, when you contact the radios now give you their prices.
Yes, I know that one very well.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember I shortlisted a list of all the radios in Cameroon at the time, and I selected some. I paid this one 50K, 20K here, 10K here, this for them to play that song. I negotiated a deal for 1 month for them to play just that single for 1 month. And you do that just for one song before you get another song and start again, the process again over. You see? So it's a routine. Then TVs are more expensive. You know, when you have to go to the song with the song on TV, geez, if you go to their front desk and say, hey, let's do 1 month. Canada in Cameroon, for example, will say, all right, it's 300,000 francs. What you going to do? You want it? Pay for it. Don't want it? Walk out. They don't care. Pay for it. That's just TVs. You see? So when you do that, that is I call that a very rugged, in-depth marketing, aggressive marketing plan to be able to put out a song. You see? Then number 5 is releasing the artist now to the world. Now that everything is set, now that the label officially has launched the artist, everybody is now enjoying these things. What happens? Number 1, you now have live performance opportunities. When there's a live performance opportunity, it means the artist has to do tours. The artist has to minister in concerts. The artist has to appear in major events. What happens? The label will now make sure that they work out the logistics to make sure that happens. Number 2 is that the label will book shows and negotiate performances. The artist must now represent the label professionally. All of those things are all included. The financial demand in all of this, Pastor Gilbert, is not something that you smile with overnight.
My goodness. Sounds
And
like
many people out there, many people who just enjoy this don't understand The blood and sweat. The truth is that, Pastor Gibbet, I tell you this, what is invested at the beginning is blood and sweat to get an artist up there, but it is business.
Yeah. My. Somebody has said you should start a school for us because this is big. This is in depth here today. My goodness, this is so good. Thank you so much, and I want to appreciate and recognize also Lorna Basole. Thank you for stars, sending us stars. We appreciate that. Thank you everyone for the contributions, immense contributions and reactions that we are having out there. This is in depth. This is big, and you've come out with all this. We can really begin to rethink now when we hear labels, record labels, really complaining about artists misbehaving. I think for the longer part, Pastor Anita has really been saying a lot is invested. You know, I've always jumped to the side of the artists to say, no, these record labels are messing up these artists, exploiting them. But right now, I'm beginning to retract. But I'm not fully, completely out of that position until we get through this today. Let's push it further. You've come out clearly to say the goal is profit. All these investments is to make profit. Now, why does a record label need to enter into a contract with the artist? And also, second part of that is, what are the details of that contract? What is inside that contract? First of all, why is it that you guys must sign a contract? Why can't you just have that wonderful sister? It's a gospel thing. This is the kingdom. Why paperwork, signing things that sometimes, we don't need? The artist is so naive in those early days. They don't even know what they are signing. Why is a contract necessary? And what is the content of your contracts usually as record labels?
All right. That is also a very good question, Pastor Gibbet. I think I'm sorry. I was just trying to pull up my Facebook here so I can also be seeing people we have on there. I like to know that I'm speaking to people.
Oh yes, we have a whole lot in there. It may even get to distract you, but there's a bunch on there. Yes.
So it's a very good question. Why does the record label enter into an agreement with an artist, and why contracts in the first place? Now, I like this question because I've been seeing a lot of different mixed feelings online. And I've not really bothered to worry the people online because, of course, they don't have the understanding. When you know better, then you are able to think and comment better in the comment sections and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, we have a threshold of people who don't take the time to get on, to do a research before they stop. They just stop as they feel, and all of that. Now, let's be honest here for a second. A record label is a business. It is not charity. It is a business. I say that again. It is a business. And no record label, Pastor Gibbet, whether secular or Christian, is signing an artist out of the kindness of their heart. They have behind that kindness, if at all there is kindness, business. They have behind it what I call business. Now, a record label enters into an agreement, in other words, enter into a contract with an artist for one primary reason. The reason is to protect their investment. The reason why you enter into a contract is to protect your investment. My friends, I want you all to hear me and understand everything that I'm saying with this. Because many gospel artists think that when a label signs them, it is just a handshake and a prayer. No, every serious label require a legally binding contract before they spend a single dollar on an artist. I don't know if I'm communicating to someone.
Yeah.
Now, it's very important. This is very important, Pastor Gibbet, because the moment a label invests in you, the moment a label pours in all these resources, paying for your music production, branding, promotion, and marketing, and entire management, and all of that, they need a guarantee. They need some form of a guarantee, sir, that they're going to be able to have a return on that investment. If I told you this earlier when I started speaking, that if I have money and you want me to borrow you that money, if I know that I'm not going to benefit anything from borrowing you that money, I'm not going to give you the money. This is not now. This is this is how businesses operate. It means that Bank of America will not give you a loan if they know they will not benefit on that loan, Pastor Gibbet. So that is how it is. Now, and I want you all to get this very clear. Now, let's break this down step by step so I can have them really understand this. A record label is making an investment in you as an artist. And I hope that some artists are on this platform and they can hear me. Now, signing an artist is not cheap. A label doesn't just release your music. They invest time, they invest money, and they invest their industry connections in order to be able to build your career, right? Now, the very first thing they do is that you have that studio recording, which we talked about. We talked about music video production. We talked about marketing and promotion, branding and image development. We talked about touring and concert bookings. It means that a record label could easily spend thousands of dollars on an artist before they even see a dime in return. If it is small,
Yeah.
there will be. We're talking over $70,000 before they start seeing a return in any way. A record label can put in close to $100,000, 60 million francs CFA. I don't know what it is in your currency before they can start seeing even a dime. The dime. Now tell me, if you were a label, a label, sir, would you just spend all that money without a legal contract binding that agreement? Absolutely not. You will not do
No
that.
way.
You will not do that. Now, pay attention to this. This is why every label requires an artist to sign a contract, sir, because they are ensuring that once they invest in you, you cannot just take that money and all that work they've done and walk away the next day. Because in psychology, we talk about something called plasticity. The nature of human beings is that human beings are plastic in nature. It means that when you get a plastic paper, for example, let me use this little mail. This is Pastor Gibbet right now. When the wind starts blowing, this is Pastor Gibbet. When the wind starts blowing, this is you see. This is how we are. We change with changing circumstances. We change with changing scenarios. You see, people grow up. Different things happen. So everything that we agreed on day one can become a word of the mouth on day two if we don't have a legal binding agreement. Number two,
Yes.
Number two is that a contract, which is very important, protects the label and not just the artist. And I'm going to be speaking in a little bit on both sides. I know that the questions I answer them as asked. Mostly, why should labels require a contract? Now, the contract protects the label, not just the artist. Why? Because many artists often think that a contract is meant to protect them, which is totally wrong. If an artist decides to leave the label before fulfilling their agreement, what happens is that they could lose hundreds of thousands. The label loses hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the contract wants to make sure that, one, the artist cannot leave until they fulfill the terms of the contract. Number two, that the label gets their fair share of the artist's earnings or the earnings from exploiting the music of the artist and all of that. Number three, the label controls something really, really important here, because that's something that triggered these guys in Nigeria. The label controls the rights of the music, often which the artist often doesn't really understand this. It means that the artist does not own their own songs on even when they leave the label. So it's something called a catalog. A catalog is the rights of a music that are owned by the production house that produced that artist. It's called a catalog, and we're going to get into that a little bit when I answer one of the questions below. So the artist must deliver all of these things. So a contract protects the label and the interest of the label in that regard. Number three is that a contract, Pastor Gibbet, locks the financial split between the label and the artist. So that is not word of the mouth. It is something that is important. Because when it comes to money, now let's talk about money for a quick second. This is where artists get into trouble most of the time. And this is where the fallouts always come. Pastor Gibbet, let me say this. And for those who are people are in the comment section there and all of that, you agree with me that money takes on the character of a person. Money takes on the character of a person.
Yes. True.
Oh my goodness. It means that there are some people that you may not really know them until they start making some money. But let me
That's
say this.
right. That's so true.
A selfish man is not going to become generous because they have money now. No, they're going to become even more stingy, even more selfish. A generous person will become even more generous when they have money. So money takes on the character of a person. So we don't play with money. When it comes to money conversations, we got to document stuff. When in doubt, always document stuff. So a contract will clearly state how much of the revenue will go to the artist and how much will the label keep. And here is something that I want you guys to understand in reality, that most artists don't make much money from their music when they're with a label. Why? Because the label takes back most of the revenue because they have to do what we call recuperation of the investment, which is called cost. Now, I'm going to be very realistic with this one because, Pastor Gilbert, if you decide to open a restaurant down the street and you spend $200,000 to open the restaurant, in the first month that you sold $10,000, it doesn't mean that you've gained $10,000. No, sir. You are still at negative $190,000.
Yes. Yes.
So it means that if me and you had a contractual agreement for a split, you cannot be expecting that, hey, we have to now go 50-50 when I bore a cost of $300,000.
These things are so there's a lot in there that we don't see on the outer space. There's
so
a lot.
So people are not understanding this. And I'm going to do this. By the time I'm getting done with this, I'm going to give a very wise education, a very wise counsel to artists.
Come on, we're ready.
Oh,
we're ready.
If they take it, but it's a $1 million advice I'm going to give. If they take it, I tell you the truth, they're going to see a massive explosion in their careers.
Amen.
They're not going to be selfish. They're going to work hard because you work before you earn. Number 4, the contract determines who owns the music. That's another very important thing. So the master and the publishing rights, I call it the catalog. So who owns your song? So if a label fully owns your masters, then that's it. It's done. All right. If you don't want them to own it, at the beginning of it, you guys discuss the treatment of the catalog. Don't come later when you've left and say that I want to claim the catalog. No, you didn't spend $1 in it. It means that if you say you want your catalog, then from day one, let's do the investment together too. So I bring 50%, you bring 50%, so that at the end of the day, we can also split the catalog. But if I put in all this money and build my house, and the house is there to completion, right? And then you come the next day and say that, you know what, this is my house because I stayed there since it was built. I've been renting this house for the past 50 years. It is my house, so I'm going to own it. No, you can't. No, impossible. It is my house. I own the foundation of the house, so it is my catalog. People have to understand this. I invested my blood and sweat to create that catalog. They have to understand this. So if a label owns this catalog and all of that, they control how your music is used. You have to understand that. It means that they collect most of the royalties. It means that you cannot legally use your own music without their permission. It is their product.
My goodness. Wow.
Yeah. And so many gospel artists have lost ownership of their music because they sign contracts without understanding these terms. And so they are now disgruntled for on the wrong path. They're wrong. They are wrong. They're not supposed to be disgruntled. They sign a piece of paper. They have to understand that. You get it?
Goodness.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Then number 5, the contract also controls the freedom of the artist. Because I tell you this, Pastor Gilbert, when you don't have certain checks and balances, they will fly from Kribi to Dubai without anything. The moment 5 million touch their hand, I tell you, I have this guy, this record label owner in Nigeria, Don Jazzy. He even put on his contract that no getting pregnant. You get pregnant, you breach the contract, it's done. You know why he does that? Because to be able to recuperate that money, he has worked out the business model and he knows the time that he needs to cash out. So if you jump from one boyfriend to another and you get pregnant, it means that you have his money, you've ruined his money, he's suing you, it's caught situation right there. So if you are signing the contract, you know that for 10 years, I'm not going to get pregnant.
Wow. This is a lot going on in all of this.
Right. Then number 6, before I conclude on this question, is that the contract, Pastor Gilbert, defines how an artist can leave the label. So it has what we call the termination clause. It means that you, the artist, can pull up a clause in the contract if you see that things are not going as agreed. You are within your right. You are within the legal framework to do so. So that, which means that, oh my goodness, now let's talk about this, getting out of the contract, which is very important. Now, many artists always sign contracts, Pastor Gilbert, without really thinking about the exit strategy. You get it? They assume that if things go wrong, they can just leave. They don't read the exit strategy to understand what can go wrong and ask questions. A contract would define a few key things. The very first thing a contract would define is that how long the first thing is that how long the artist is bound to the contract or to the label. 5 years, 10 years, how long it is. Number two, what is the artist or what the artist must deliver before they can leave? How many albums, how many songs, revenue targets, and all those things. It's going to specify those things. Number three, if there is a buyout clause, you hear what I just said? A buyout clause. It means that we can include a buyout clause that in the event of in an eventuality of the departure of the artist can choose to buy their catalog. So this is why it is important that you must read and understand your contract before you signed it, so that you don't come and cry the victim. And I'm saying so because I'm always very upset with a lot of artists because they always play the victim card.
And we all fall for it. We all fall for that. Yeah.
And we fall for that because the reason why you're falling for it, Pastor Gibe, is because you are just a consumer of the product. You do not understand
of the finished product. Yes. And that's the person we know. That's the person we know. That's the person we see. We don't even see. Oh, look at how surprised we are today. Look at how many stars are pouring in because of this insight. Thanks to Sister Lillian. We have people pouring in stars. Sister Lillian sending us stars. And of course, also Ayon Beckley. This is insight that we've never heard, because of this moment. But go ahead.
Right. And I was going to quickly say that if you all you like to do, Pastor Gilbert, is to enjoy a beautiful song by Pastor Anita Eta, but you don't understand the blood and sweat she has put into to get that beautiful song there for you.
Yeah.
You have 3 minutes to go and say, oh, the song is not nice. Oh, the song is nice. That's your 3 minutes. But that 3 minutes.
Exactly. Sometimes I say, this is just 4 minutes. And then I see the work they did. You did all this work for 4 minutes. It's a lot.
The first time I left the United States and I landed in Cameroon and I went to a video shoot by Maureen and I spent the whole day, morning till night there. I came back, it felt like I stole in Kumba Market and they beat me. I was so exhausted, my bones were pain. Man, it's so difficult, Pastor Gilbert, I tell you the truth. When you see the work that they go through, all of that, it's not easy. The money, everything, it's not easy. Oh yeah, the entire crew.
Yeah.
Anyways. Let's continue to our next question, I think. So we can
yes, this is really so good. I want to recognize everyone that is joining. Thank you so much. We are definitely having a good time. I cannot even recognize names at this time, but thank you all. And we see the powerful contributions in the comment section. I thank you for really bringing out, the need for a contract. Why? Because that's a big thing. People have said we are Christians, we are believers. Why are Christians signing contracts? And then the other thing I wanted to find out is the content of those contracts. What is in there? And you've really opened up all of that for us today.
I have done that for you guys.
Yes, thank you so much. The thing is, if the artist is still naive, because these contracts are done at early stages, and I don't even think they understand. I don't even think they have somebody telling them what it means. What if this contract is done at a naive state when they are still novices? The novice, they have no idea. And they are just going on to sign and all of that. What if it is done when they are still a novice? How do they know if the contract is written in a way that would exploit them? What do you advise a novice who is being, because they are scouted by you guys? You are record label. You said right now there's whatever is going on in Cameroon and you're watching. And let's say you see a great talent there and you call them and you have your contract. You already seen the foresight. You've seen where you said marketability. So you're dealing with that person with foresight, and the person is entirely a novice. What will you advise them to do at this stage where they are being called and scouted by record labels so that they don't sign something they don't understand?
Excellent question. So if I get the question right, you're basically asking that how does a novice artist know if a contract is exploitative?
Yes.
Or what?
Yes. Or what should they to avoid? Yes.
Sign a deal that they will regret.
Exactly.
Right.
Perfect.
Now I really like that. Now this one is one of the biggest traps in the music industry. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Again, when we start this conversation, we're going to be very real today and speak to record label owners, speak to artists, speak to the public, speak to everyone. Now, novice artists, when it comes to signing contracts, they don't understand a lot of different things, and it is very clear. And when what you don't understand is what you're going to regret. And that is why knowledge
So
is
true.
profitable, because it directs. Knowledge is profitable because it does what? It directs. All right. So now,
Mm-hmm.
but I also don't think that a novice artist should just get up from their bed and just go put their ink on a piece of paper and sign. They'll be very stupid and dumb to do so. And that is why, in my experience, I never fall prey. No, I never fall prey to the emotions that an artist is feeling on social media, that, hey, I did not know that this, or I was a novice, this. No. Oh, no, absolutely not. Because the process is different, Pastor Gibbon. I'm going to explain that to you in a little bit. Now, the truth is
Okay.
that labels are businesses. Labels are businesses. And in business, the people who know less always suffer the most.
They pay the price. Yes.
They pay the price.
The price of
You get it?
ignorance. Yes.
Right. So sometimes, let me tell you something, Pastor Gibbet. A buyer is a buyer. If you go to the market now to buy a T-shirt, and if somebody accepts to sell you a T-shirt for $10, don't think that because they put sale on it, you've won. No, you've not.
Yeah. My
They're winning.
goodness.
They're always winning. So it means that if you are a new artist in the gospel music industry and you're probably excited, hey, I'm coming to the industry, and you've been praying for a breakthrough, and now the record label has come in like a Blaze Music and is offering you a deal, and you're telling yourself that we believe, and when they come in so ready. They're very educated, and they're well. If I speak to you here that I want to sign you, how will you say no? Because I know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
So we
Yes.
believe in your gift. We believe in you. I want to invest in you. You're going to be the next big thing. You're going to be the next big gospel artist that the country has ever heard of. At this point, your emotions are high. They trigger your emotions. Your excitement is through the roof, and you just want to sign quickly and start recording because you are seeing yourself like the next Messi Chingo, right? But then what you don't understand is that a contract is not just a piece of paper. A contract, my brother, is a legally binding agreement that can control your entire career for that duration of time. It is crazy, and you need to understand it. If you sign a bad contract, what happens is that you could lose ownership of your songs. You could be stuck in an unfair deal for so many years. You can make money but never see a dime.
My God.
You can do
So
so.
true.
You may be unable to minister freely because the label controls everything that you sing. They micromanage all of that. You cannot live. You try to live only to realize that you have to pay thousands of dollars if you break it. You can even go to jail for that. So if you sign a bad contract, it can end your life. And many artists, Pastor Gilbert, as I'm seeing the comments, you guys keep commenting, many artists make these mistakes. They always do. So here is the very first red flag that I always tell people. Number one is that the very first biggest sign that a contract is not in your favor is when the label is rushing to sign it. When they're rushing to sign it, just understand that there's something, you see. Then number two is that who owns the masters, right, of your songs? If you want to own the masters, you have to talk about it. You have to talk about the treatment of those catalogs. Number three is that you have to watch out for what I call perpetuity. Perpetuity is what I call the forever clauses, which means that some contracts are not just for 3 or 5 years. Some have language that says this agreement shall remain in effect in what we call perpetuity. It means that perpetuity means forever. But you read, you just say, what perpetuity means? You don't know. You just say, oh, wow, they tell me it's good. It means that this contract is a very good thing. It means that they have signed your life forever. You just have to, if you have to abandon that contract, just go and be a farmer. Or even if you have to leave the label, it means that your songs will remain with the label in what we call perpetuity. I wrote down that particular example because it's in most contracts and the artists don't always see that. So it means that if you see perpetuity in any section of your contract, walk away or renegotiate because that contract is going to last forever. You have to understand these things. Number 4 is understanding what we call revenue split. Revenue splits are royalties, how much you get paid versus the label. Yes, the label will always take a higher percentage because they do the investments and all those things to get to you. But settle for something that you know that is comfortable and satisfying enough. It's very important because royalties will come from music sales. It's going to come from concert bookings. It's going to come from merchandise sales. You have digital royalties, mechanical royalties. You have brand ambassador deals. When the money from music starts coming in, Pastor Gibbet, it doesn't stop. It's a lot of money. I tell you the truth. It's a lot of money. So it means that if you don't start on day one and structure things right, you may be shooting yourself in the foot. So you want to be ready and talk about these things. And to do this is not difficult. You gotta know knowledge. You have to understand these things. Number 5 is what you have. I always say that you have to pay attention to the contract duration and the exit clauses. The exit clauses are very important, so that you don't exit, you don't get up today and want to exit, and then the $2 million fine is coming upon you. Oh yes.
Yeah.
And so I really want out there to understand this. And then number 6 is that always have a lawyer or a mentor present to review the contract with you. Pastor Gibbet, if you don't have money to hire a lawyer, right, go and look for an educated mentor, a big brother, someone that can understand these basic English things and can ask questions. Let this person come and be your representative and ask questions on your behalf. If you are a novice, it means that you probably don't understand what we call legal jargons, right?
Yeah.
Get somebody that can Google. Get somebody that can help you Google. Contracts are not written in ways that hide important details in complex languages. No. Many artists have signed bad deals because they just didn't read the fine print. They just didn't even take the time to understand what that English is saying. Some contracts are so sophisticated that the booklet is that thick. You see it and you are lazy to read. It's not on the label. It's your fault.
Yeah, sometimes they will just make it extremely bogus and voluminous.
It's the system. But to give it that 3 things, that 3 steps I wrote here. Number 1 is what I call get an entertainment lawyer. In every country, you have entertainment law. An entertainment lawyer will ensure that even if you have to no matter what, the contract will come out well. If you have to borrow money to hire an entertainment lawyer for the sake of the peace of your future, do so. Hire a lawyer, hire an entertainment lawyer. Number 2, if you cannot afford a lawyer, find a mentor or an industry expert that can help explain the contract to you. Don't be desperate. Not all that glitters is gold. It may look like gold at the surface, but when you start digging, you realize that there was dirt in the middle. So be careful with these things. Number 3, never sign anything blindly. No matter how good the deal sounds, make sure you go through the fine print before you sign.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
My goodness. This is so good. This is so good. We just got stars pouring in. Mama Mercy is sending us stars. Pastor Wiseman is sending us stars. Man of God, you are doing something awesome today. Thank you so much. And of course, we want to recognize everyone else that is joining. Thank you so much. This is really, really good. This is good.
Before you ask me the next question, there's a thought that I wanted to share real quick. Just 1 second. If God has called you to minister through music, you must also be wise about the business side of the industry. All right, it's very important for those of you who are aspiring and you're listening to me out there. Why? Because many anointed artists have been trapped in bad contracts for so long, simply because they did not take the time, Pastor Gilbert, to read and understand what they are signing. And so you must take practical action. The first practical action is that before you sign anything, take a step back, pray and seek counsel. Number 2, if the contract feels too controlling, then it is controlling. You cannot think that it's going to ease up on you later on. If it feels too controlling, then it is controlling. So don't, man of God, especially for my African friends listening to me right now, we overlook things and we over spiritualize, and because of our religious attachments, we over assume some things. Remember, signing a bad contract today can delay your ministry tomorrow. So you cannot be, oh, well, he has said that. Well, let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. I cannot miss this opportunity. No. If you choose to sign it by making that compromise, then you have to bear the consequences for when it starts hitting you hot. That's right.
Yeah, I wrote, that's a powerful quote to leave here with. If the contract feels too controlling, then it is actually controlling. Powerful. Yes. Powerful. Yes. Thank you, Katia, for stars coming in. And of course, we have people all the way. Mojoko is in Cameroon and a bunch of people in Cameroon. This is 12:30 or 1:30 a.m. at night, and they are awake just to listen to this. This is how important this conversation is today. Thank you all for that, sacrifice to learn this. This is really good. Let's push this for the man of God, and thank you so much for your indulgence creating all this extra time. We promise a 1 hour, but we're just getting started. So thank you for all the time you have for us today. I hope
Yes, sir.
Mama Doctor would give us grace to have you a little longer. Thank you. Let's push it further with this one. What if you excitedly sign the contract, as a novice, and later realize that you're being exploited? What should you do? You never check the exit clause. You never check the details of the contract. Just like the whole situation. I know there's an example. I saw a video between Moses Bliss, Spotlight Nation, and Ebuka Songs. And Moses Bliss came out to say, well, it was a contract for 3 years, but Ebuka Song a year and a half. Said he doesn't feel comfortable, and he just left. And he said that's a breach of contract, but I let him go. So, but I think he said it clearly, there was a breach of contract right there. What should you do if you got in as a novice? You never got all these mentors, you never had this lecture today, and you got in and you're stuck, and things are just not where you want it to be. What should you do? Should you just endure till 5 years, 10 years, or what should you do? At that point, you're not comfortable.
Right. Pastor Gilbert, the situation between Moses Bliss and Ebuka, for example, could have erupted into a compounding disaster. All right. But it's just because, given their religious affiliations, they chose to just let it slide and all of that. But in the actual business sense, it could have been a compounding disaster. Now, it's a very important question, and this is actually what I call a nightmare scenario. It is a nightmare situation. Why? Because many gospel artists always find themselves in this place. Now, I do not know why they choose to do so. But anyways, you were excited. You thought that God has opened a big door for you. You were eager to launch your music ministry in a big way. You signed the contract of your dreams without reading the fine print or fully understanding what you are agreeing to, right? So you were just excited. Now, months have passed by, years have come, and you've realized that you are now trapped. But then, why are you realizing that you're trapped? When you signed the contract, everything was going smooth. Things were working out. And boom, those songs started blowing up. You started selling. You started being a hot cake in the market. And so you've grown and you've become right up there. So your music is selling, but you are not making enough money, right? You see, that's a problem right there. You want to minister freely, but your label is blocking you. You are being told what to sing, how to dress, where to go. You try to leave, but the contract has locked you into a very restrictive, a heavy restriction scenario or situation. And you're kind of stuck. You're like, okay, how do I leave this? Now, at this point, excitement is gone. You're now about to face reality. You feel so stuck. You feel so frustrated, and you're feeling even betrayed. So the big question now is that what can you do to get out? Now, let me break this down for you guys clearly, all right, so that everybody can understand. I know everybody, I see some people in the comment section eager to understand. Now, start number one. You have to start by reviewing your contract again. If you want to leave, review your contract again. Okay. This time, you have to do it with a clear mind. All right, because now you've grown, so you know better. When you first signed the contract, you probably skimmed through it and you were just excited and you didn't really grasp the details. Now that you realize that you are being exploited, go back to the contract and read it carefully. Now, when you read it, you have to look at the following key clauses. It's very important. Key clause number one that I want you to look at is that you have to look at the contract duration. How long am I legally bound to this level? Number two, the exit clause. Is there a way for me to leave early? And what are the conditions if I have to break and leave early? Number three, buyout terms. Can you pay a certain amount to get out? If I do want to get out, can I buy out? Get out? You have to go back and read that and understand. Number four, music ownership, which is called the catalog. Does the label own all my songs forever, or do I own some or have any shares in it? Number five, revenue split. Are they taking the majority of your earnings or not, and all of this? Now, why is this important that you ask yourself all these questions, Pastor Gilbert? Because understanding your contract will tell you exactly what your legal standing is at that point in time. Now, if you don't know what it is, you are able to, now, if you understand what your legal standing is, you're able to fight back properly. But if you don't, you are unable to fight back properly. The reason why people come to the court of social media is to be able to to gather public sympathy so they can sympathize with you for a mistake that you made years ago. But the court of public opinion is not the legal court. It will not solve your problem. Oh my goodness, I feel like I'm talking to.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good.
No, right. So that's the very first thing. Go back and review the contract. Number two is that get professional legal help. It could be a music attorney. It could be just some lawyer that has knowledge about this and can help you fight this battle, because it's something that you cannot fight alone. You got to get legal help involved in somehow, right? Number three, try to negotiate with the label directly. Try to come to some compromise. It's not working. This marriage is not going on smoothly. Can we divorce it? And if so, what are the options that I have and all of that? Now, when you approach the record label, don't try to blackmail them, because you can trigger anger. When you trigger them to be angry, then they're going to fight you from a place of pain. A place of pain is that they will now recall how much they invested. And if they've not made back that money, they're going to come at you with pain in their heart, because they are feeling that, hey, you've already made some name and you're about to be out there and you're about to leave when the contract has not expired. So you have to approach them professionally, schedule a meeting, send an official email to them. Hey, calmly explain your concerns. Don't be emotional. Talk business. Sit down. Let's talk about it. This is it. This is it. And if they're open to revising or to revising certain terms about the revenue split, they can reconsider and they do what I call an amendment of the contract and include those amendment articles in the contract, and you're able to move forward. But if you don't do so, you're going to have possible outcomes. Best case is that, of course, they can agree to adjust your contract too. Worst case is that they refuse to change anything, and now you know that you have to really look for an exit to go out on all of that. So it means that if the couple of people you mentioned earlier, Moses Bliss and Ibuka, for example, sat down and really reviewed this contract and did all of this, they could have amended. They could have had a better way to move forward and so on. But boom, that didn't happen. However, he was able to, whatever he used to get out of the contract, good for him. That's a very good thing for him. Right now, he's happy that he's out of it, right? I do not know if I would say that Moses Bliss was exploiting the label Blue Nation. I don't know. I think that's how it's called.
Spotlight Nation. Spotlight Nation.
Oh, there we go. Spotlight Nation. I don't know if they were exploiting him or not, but whatever it is, they made him somewhere. They walked and they got him somewhere that he could not even start from there to spring forth. So you can never forget those days. And that is why you have to understand that when it's time to leave a label, no matter what, especially if they've made you, live with peace. Because these people were responsible for getting you from nothing to something.
Hallelujah to that. Yeah.
And I say this to say that I'm preparing an advice at the end for all my fellow artists. That is $1 million advice. You take it or leave it, but it's going to be mind-blowing. That will help you navigate the nuances of the business, of the music business world. Yes, sir.
Ooh. Yeah, I gotta stick around for that advice. Powerful. Thank you. We just have people. I saw Minister Rochi Osvalin. This is almost 2 a.m. in Cameroon, and they are up and watching because this is so important. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, wonderful people, for this participation today. This is really, really powerful, what you've given us. I want to push last but one question or a few. We're almost wrapping up, but let's get this. We've talked about the aspect of gospel artists exiting a label, and you've given us great insight as to how we can live there. And for the most part, what we've talked about, you've mentioned the aspect of, the reason they want to leave is now money is now coming in and they're not seeing it. They've become big and popular and they are not seeing what that is bringing to them. They want to go everywhere and they're not letting them go. Those are some of the reasons you've mentioned. But there are also some 3 important reasons that gospel artists have cried out as to the reason why they want to leave a record label. Number 1, some gospel artists have said the record label charges high amounts of money before they can sing or minister in a program. And this is against their Christian belief. For you to charge money before I go to minister. Because I talked earlier, I said, I called GUC, I got his number, spoke with him. And he said, well, I cannot do anything. When we're talking of empowerment conference, I think 2 years ago. And he said, I cannot say anything, go to Easy Concept. That's send me over. And I went there and it was a whole different story. And I looked at GUC, I said, this is a minister of the gospel, but the person you send me to is talking business in high dollar amounts. So it looked as though GUC is a businessman, though it's not him directly. So some of them cry that the record label is charging money, and to them, they are believers, they are Christians, they are ministers, they are song ministers. They don't want to charge money. They don't want that stigma to be on them. That's why they want to leave. Number two, the record label is insisting on a 50-50 split of the income, and they feel that this is an exploitation. They are the ones singing, they are the ones doing everything. That's number two reason. Number three reason, the record label is harvesting all the royalties from their songs and only giving them crumbs. Are these not legitimate reasons for artists to leave a record label?
Wow. All right. So those are concerns, and they are legitimate concerns, and I really would like to be very brutal when I answer these questions. All right, and we talk about it realistic as possible. Now, let's start with the very first question, which I think is the one that talks about labels charging high fees before an artist can minister somewhere. Now, let me ask you this question, Pastor Gilbert. If God has called you to minister through music, should a record label be the one deciding whether you can do it or not? That is a question that also people should.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying now. But now here is what is happening. Let's start from a little bit of what is happening. So you have a church or an event that invites an artist to come and minister. And instead of the artist just saying yes, the record label steps in and demands a huge fee before allowing them go to that program and perform there, right? Now, some labels even charge organizers before allowing the artist to sing even in a regular church service. Now, based on that question, to the artist, that is a big problem. And the question is that we have to answer that by asking ourselves that why is this happening? So we have to go from the why perspective. That why is this happening? Now, because an artist can feel spiritually restricted or unable to freely accept invitations to minister unless approved, does not mean that the devil is entirely wrong. Now, let me explain a few things with that. What does this mean? So I'm going to first of all explain what it means for a gospel artist. Number one, if you sign a deal that limits your ability to minister, let me say this clearly, and I want to be very brutal. That limits your ability to minister. It means that you are no longer fully in control of your calling. So I'm using this to go back to the drawing board. If you know that God has truly called you, and you have to minister, according to how you know that your call is structured, then when drawing up your contractual agreement with the label, that should be your presentation to the label that, hey, this is what I need. This is what I want. If you want to manage me, you have to take into consideration this.
Powerful.
Very important. You have to understand that. Number two, if you don't negotiate ministry freedom before signing, what happens is that you may never find yourself turning down opportunities because labels will say no. And yes, they may say no. Because the reason why they're saying no is because they're also in the business of making money. So they may have 3 programs call you on the same date, which is the 15th. You want to go for that program based off on what the Lord is telling you, right? But the label is going for those programs based on who is paying the highest.
Yes.
So it means that, and I'm saying this to say that that's why I love Ablaze. Ablaze is the home of gospel music, Pastor Gilbert, because each of our artists, we take into consideration their ministerial calls. All right.
Yes.
I
had it. It was a completely different experience when I reached out to you for Mercy, Grace for Lou, and yes, it was entirely. Ablaze is really different. Go ahead.
Right. So we talk about it. Then when a program comes and I give it to them, I say, hey, we have a program this day. Pray and tell me what you feel about this program. The Lord said I should not do this program. I don't feel in my spirit. I say, well, the same spirit that is speaking to you is also speaking to me. We are not doing this program. It's a done deal. And so I don't have a disagreement with them ever on this. Because one, we are connected in spirit, and two, we are in agreement on paper.
Yeah. Come
So you
on.
think you're going to find a scandal in that situation? No. So Pastor Gilbert, gospel music, I want you to understand that gospel music is a calling. It's a calling, no doubt. And it is not just, and so because it's a calling, it doesn't take out the industry aspect of it. There is the industry. Any label that monetizes ministry to an extreme level is actually definitely killing the purpose behind the music. It means that when you start charging exorbitant amount of money, you're killing that purpose of the calling. It becomes all about money, and I'm going to be very honest with that. But labels tend to typically do so because they want to recuperate the cost that they have invested. Even after doing that, they just maintain that same habit. I have called a few of those my brothers down in Nigeria myself to do some few things with them, and the prices have been ridiculous. And I'm like, whoa, this is insane. I thought I'm inviting Burna Boy or something. It's crazy, you know. and I understand that. And so for me, because of those experiences, I try to, you know, be assess it differently. And also, there's also something that I need to talk about here, which is very important. Sometimes, and in their defense, some of those exorbitant costs comes because of scaling. The bigger the artist in terms of the numbers, the more they're going to charge. You see what I'm saying? But I think that it would have been fair if there was some form of a regulatory committee that can regulate how much these artists charge, because of course they're making money and they're supposed to pay taxes, and all countries are supposed to regulate some of this so that people and organizations and institutions like churches are not exploited by private businesses like record labels and all of those. So it is up to the state to do all of that. If you open a restaurant down the street and the state of Texas is not regulating you, Pastor Gilbert, you will charge a plate of ndole for $500, and as long as people are buying it, you will keep selling it and even adding the price. So if people don't like to buy that plate of ndole, they'll stop and you will drop down in price, and that's the thing. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different factors that play in here. And so if you do the math, you realize that it always plays out like this, especially when it comes to the prices and all those things. But to solve this problem, the artist should have prior agreements before the contract is also signed. And say, hey, this is a ministry to me. I know we're going to make money in this, but what is the structure for when we hit these numbers? When we'll be at this level? When we'll be at this level? What is the structure and all of that? I also understand that times are changing. So if we say $20,000 now, in 5 years' time, because of inflation, we may need to charge $40,000 to be able to adjust to all those different things, you see. So we have to talk about those and have that, hey, let's have some form of regulation on ourselves, just so that we don't become so exorbitant in pricing and all of that. But what the artist should do is that before signing, negotiate all of these things, negotiate splits, understanding what I call recoupment cost, exactly, recoupment cost, own understand these things, so that when these prices start coming in, you are not being devastated. Hey, what's happening here? What is happening here? And all of those things. Yes, sir. That was the one. Now, let's talk about the fact that there was another one that labels taking a 50-50 split or whatever that is, right? Is this exploitation? Right. So first things first. First things first, let me tell you this, Pastor Gilbert. Any label that is taking a 50-50 split is madly in love with that artist. They love the artist so much, too much. It's a gold mine for the artist. When I heard that Easy T was splitting 50-50 with Mercy Chinwo, I was like, man, this is such incredible. I said that because and I applauded him as an investor myself. I applauded him for that. The reason why I applauded him is because I know what it takes to get an artist to the level where he has gotten that Mercy Chinwo, right? And so, because of Mercy Chinwo's influence and where they have gotten, he has gotten her, he decided that, you know what, it is rewarding that this contract be a 50-50 split. That 50-50 split is a major reward to the artist. And that artist to say, thank you, Jesus, for putting me in such an amazing company that can reward me with a 50-50 split. Because I tell you the truth, Sony Music in the United States will never, ever give you such a split, except you are an owner.
And we can easily
I tell
understand
you,
this right now. We can sit into this and see this because you've brought us from the journey of, you gave us all of this, from scouting, from cleaning to branding to investing to
right,
marketing and promotion. You've
right.
you've taken us through this
You
journey,
got it.
and we can now
So,
see
yes,
what
sir.
they've gone through. So a 50-50 is like Pastor Anita, and of course, Desmond is here today. We have everybody here today. We have
Yes,
all of this. We are now beginning to see how this whole thing is beginning to change our mindset. When I had the 50-50 from Mercy Chinwo, I said that was exploitation on Mercy Chinwo, because that's the person we know. That's the person we see. Who is this easy concept that is asking for 50-50 when it's Mercy singing, it's Mercy rehearsing, it's Mercy flying? But now there's a
right.
whole lot.
So now let's
Yeah.
go on this. Let me say something real quick. Can I do 50-50? Absolutely. But can I pick an artist from day one and do 50-50? Certainly not. If I want to renew the artist contract 5 years later, for example, when the artist has grown to a certain level, can I do 50-50? Of course, yes, because the artist has grown. The artist needs more reward. You get, it's like you've been at your job for 10 years, you need a pay raise, you need better working conditions, you need all those different amenities and benefits to keep your work, facilitate your work. Yes, I can do a 50-50 split, but I cannot start on day one with an artist development and I do a 50-50 split. It doesn't work that way. You see, I mean, people have to understand these dynamics. You get what I'm saying, right, Pastor Gibbons? So
Yeah.
again, to understand the aspect of split, before you, the artist, sign the contract, take your time and understand the provision that talks about royalties, the treatment of royalties. What will be my percentage? Because if you're 20%, if the label gives you 20%, Pastor Gibbons, and that 20%, you calculate it, you say, oh, you know what, it's so for me to go and sing. Because people don't understand this. 20% of $1 million is
That's
$200,000.
$200K.
It's
Yes.
$200,000. Now, if I
200K.
take now, if you are angry with me because I took $800,000, what you don't understand is that I still have to produce your next song. I still have to market your next song. I still have to distribute your next song. I still have to go through all those things that we've been talking about since we started this call. But your $200,000 has no strings attached. It's your profit. It's your money. You've made it and you've gone. So we have to spell out some of that.
Yeah.
We have to. Then number 3 question that I saw is that labels labels keeping the royalties and giving artists crumbs. No, sir. Yeah, but yes, there's situations, especially in secular record labels in America, the artists get crumbs, and that is why I have an advice for artists at the end. And that is why American artists are so smart, and we have to think smart. And we cannot be selfish. And I'm going to use this opportunity and the case study we're dealing with in Nigeria to really give an artist to the fellow listeners on this call so they can understand this very well. So I'm going to skip this question, that labels keeping the royalties and giving artists crumbs. No, they don't give you crumbs. They give you what you signed for.
Yeah. Ignorance is costly. This is so true.
They give you,
wow.
Yes, ignorance is costly. So the question is, then there was a last question, that so should gospel artists avoid record labels completely, something like that, right? That should they
yes. If
Let's
we
be
consider
real.
all this, yes.
Let's be real. Are there bad record labels? Yes. Are there good record labels? Absolutely. Right? Now there are genuine ones. They're out to do the work. They're out to get to work with the artists, balance up all of these things to achieve all of this. However, the majority of the artists who have left record labels did so because they felt controlled. I'm telling you, because I'm not just managing one. I have my friends who manage some. You all right? My brother actually manages one of the biggest record labels in Cameroon, Akumba Music. He had some major issues too. And if we get into the nuances of some of those, I'm telling you, I speak from a wealth of experience that I have seen some of these things. I've lived and breathed some of these things. I've experienced some of these things. I'm understanding some of these. I'm speaking with some of these executives. You know what I'm saying? So which means that the majority of artists leave because, one, they feel controlled. Number 2, they feel underpaid. Number 3, they feel in the gospel sector spiritually restricted. But that is really not the reality of some of these things, because at the beginning it felt normal until they made it.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, they were happy. At the beginning, Pastor Gibbet, they're calling you, but that daddy, yeah, daddy. That's why. That's why I wrote an article on Facebook that when family business becomes business, because the way. Let me use this now to give you this example, and I'm going to use that case study. When EZT and Mercy started, right, the relationship was not business. There was a lot of factors that played it, and it became family business. Family business means that, hey, that's my daughter. Yes, daddy, the Oga, daddy this, so they're in there. So yes. So now the problem, Pastor Gilbert, is that once a business has become a family structured business and is designed in that way, a lot of things are overlooked. The reason why a lot of things are overlooked is because the Okada money that EZT was giving message, you want to take Okada and go to the studio, was never recorded. The taxi money that he would take and go here, they'll hire musicians to come and play. Those were never documented or recorded, because after all, this is my daughter. So when they started, oh, daddy this. Now remember, when they started this, she was very vulnerable. She needed this. She needed all of this. So she was very humble and submissive. Daddy, what are we doing? So whatever daddy said stood. Daddy said, oh, no, go and minister, but in Prophet this man's church. Don't go to, yes, daddy, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Daddy, without you, what will I do? You see, so the relationship started growing like that for years. It became so strong. It became so tight that EZT knew that this is my daughter. I love her so much. This is my daughter. So it became now that relationship. Now, something happened after that. When that relationship became so strong, EZT got her first car, her first apartment or house, or all the first, almost the
Yes,
first.
I've read all of that.
Her first everything. So those things, those are material things that bond people more. And there's another aspect of it that I want to share with you now, Pastor Gilbert, which is the attachment when it comes to the producer and the artist. EZT became very attached to her because both of them were accomplishing vision together. Both of them were accomplishing destiny and purpose together. You see, dreams were coming true. So both of them were making their dreams come true. So they were faithful believers in each other. You understand now? And that is why you see it is easy for the producer and the artist to start having sexual relations and start falling in love and all those things.
Yes.
Because music is a completely different language. The bond between both the producer and the artist is always massively, is crazy. Because you guys are creating. You spend hours on the phone. You spend hours in the studio. You are doing this, you are doing that, you are building together. And so after all of this, something happens. The artist makes it. The artist now has a big name, a huge following, but she's still cool. But then, where things start going off is, one, the influence of third parties. When the influence of third parties sets in, everything becomes a compounding disaster. There are three types of third parties. You have so-called spiritual fathers who want to come and say, God told me to tell you that, but they were not there on day one to give prophetic revelations. They're coming now to say that God told me to tell you that this is happening to this. So now they start using spiritual language to manipulate and brainwash you to live where has been feeding you for all these years or has made you for all these years. Those spiritual people, those so-called spiritual people, watch them, watch for them. You see, now that I don't even smile with them. I figure them out in 1 second and I kick them out. So one of the things that I do in my space is that I protect my space. I protect my space and I train my artists to hear from the man above, not from people here on earth. I call them third parties. Because third parties, Pastor Gilbert, always come with their own agenda. I tell you the truth. The second group of third parties is friends and families. Friends and family members that think that, oh, you don't need these people now. You now have the name to do this. Why don't you do it yourself?
Yeah.
Then the third group of third parties, which is so strong, is when the artist finds a partner.
Marriage.
When they fall in love, when they fall in love, it's something else. It's something else. They're not seeing anything again. those dreams come true, those future you guys were talking about. Let's conquer the world together. Let's navigate Earth together. Well, I see you winning the Grammys. All of those goes under the table because now they're emotionally attached to someone. Worst case scenario, if it is a man, you are good to go. If it is a woman, then it means that the woman has another authority on her life. It means that is why I wrote a message one time. I titled that message, "Who is your Lord? Who is your Lord?" Because the Bible says, "And Abraham Lord over Sarah." It means that when you are getting married as a woman, no matter how talented, how prepared and wealthy you are submitting your wealth, your destiny, your life into the management of another man.
Yeah.
So when that man comes in, if the man is like typical African men that have entitlement, I tell you the truth, they become micromanagers and they can deviate the calling that God has given to you. And that is why when I speak to artists, female artists, I tell them, you have to know God needs to speak to you before you say yes to a man. Because if you get married to the wrong man, it is an end to that ministry. You can be succeeding, but you are not succeeding. You can be succeeding in the physical, not succeeding in the spiritual.
Ooh, this is good.
You get what I'm saying, right?
This
So
is
that's
good.
the,
Yeah.
so I'm saying this part to say that is the reality of when you see everything that happened with these two in Nigeria, and then boom, because of the influence of these third parties, now she starts now trying to be okay. She now switches from that family business relationship they had and go business. Once you go business, you are calling for an audit. When you call for an audit, what you are doing is that you are saying that we should run the books. What has my label been doing? Have they been keeping my money? So now when you now send a letter and ask the label to now come for an audit, the label has to now try to see if they can clean up and prepare an explanation for what has been going on. So now he did not have an actual receipt of all the Okadas that you took for 2 years. He did not have actual receipts of all the taxis that you took for 2 years. He did not have receipts for. It's a typical African setting here, sir. So he did not have he did not have a receipt for all the studio sessions you guys went, all those different things, all of those. If you compile all that money, so now he now tries to put in all of those together. It becomes a disaster because he's now trying to switch from a family business relationship to a business inclined relationship. That is where it was messed up big time, Pastor Gilbert. I tell you the truth. So the question, should artists avoid record labels? Absolutely not, because they have the power and the potential to make you who you are. Never think of leaving one or not getting into one. If you have an opportunity to do so, all I say is that take your time, sit down, study the fine print, read your contract very well. When you are certain that it is to your satisfaction, put a pin and ink of it on it. Once you put an ink on it, serve it till the end.
Woo! My goodness, this is just amazing. This is amazing. Let's try to wrap it up tonight because we have to get that advice you have for all the gospel artists and everyone. Stay put right there. Don't move an inch. Don't move an inch because there's so much coming in. Recognizing all the stars coming in tonight, just a bunch of stars that are being sent in. What will you say are the pros? I think you already touched on that. Let's talk on the advantages and disadvantages of a record label, and then as you wrap it up with after that with a final word and advice. What are the things you consider advantages? Let's talk on pros and cons of a record label for a gospel artist as we start winding down.
Now, there should be no disadvantage, honestly, because there was a contractual obligation.
Okay.
So, let me ask you a question, Pastor Gilbert. Getting married to your wife, are there disadvantages?
Not at all. Not at all.
You saw that woman, you saw something in her, you fell in love with her, you developed the love, you saw that it's going somewhere, you decided to get in a legal contractual obligation with her for the rest of your life. And ever since you made that decision, you are happy. Is that not correct?
Absolutely.
So I don't see disadvantages if you sign and if you were not under the influence of anything, if you were not under the influence of anything, sir, and you sign that contract to marry your wife, and you are happy today. Let me tell you, the daily hurdles you have with your wife does not mean that the contract has a problem.
That's
So
right.
all I see are advantages. All I see are advantages. You know why? Because a contract is a mutual agreement between two people, the label and the artist, that satisfies both parties before it is signed.
Powerful. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. I love that. All right. Let's go on with any final word advice that you have tonight. We just clocked 2 hours on this session and it feels like we just started. But let's
Right.
wrap up with
Was there
final
any
words. And
question you saw? Was there any question in the comment section that we could have needed to answer
yes,
just quickly?
I
Let
had a
us see.
question earlier from Mojoko Blessing. The comments have just pushed everything out. Let me try to find that. But go ahead with any final words. Let me try to find that. It's a bunch of comments in here. She had asked a question earlier. I cannot figure that out.
Okay. All right. So the very first thing I wanted to advise is, first of all, to gospel artists. If you're a gospel artist out there, you are aspiring to be a gospel artist, and all of that is happening, there is so much to be done in the industry. Now, listen to me. I want you all to listen to me very carefully. Your music is your calling. Your music is your calling. But the ministry or the music industry is a business, and I need you to understand this. Your music is your calling, but the music industry is a business. If you are not wise, people will use your anointing to make money while you struggle and struggle for all your life. So you must know. I have seen too many gospel artists, Pastor Gilbert, sign bad contracts out of excitement, out of peer pressures, out of the desire to wanting to be seen, to want to be known, and all those things, only for them to later on regret it. I have seen artists with powerful voices, strong ministries, and global potentials lose everything because they didn't understand the industry. And so here is my very first advice to every artist that is on here listening to me. I see a few persons are still on here now. Number one, never sign a contract without fully understanding it. It is clear, and I'm speaking to you from someone who prepares the contracts, right? Understand your contracts before you sign them. Two, understand the treatment of articles in that contract. Talk about royalties, talk about your catalogs, talk about all these small, small things so that you clearly understand them, right? Then number three
Mhm.
advice is that understand how you get paid. The question is that how will I make money from this contract? How will I make money? How will I be able to make money for myself? Because yes, you are not going to work for free. You're not the Bible says your gift will make a way for you. So if I'm signing this contract for my gift to be exploited, how will this gift make a way for me? Yes, I know that I'm going to be serving my kingdom purpose, but how will this gift make a way for me? Number four, never let a record label control your ministry. You have to be very smart to bring that in, to introduce that on day one of the contract by explaining to them your call and the importance of your call, so that if they are choosing to get in business with you, they are choosing to protect and facilitate your call. Very, very important. So you have to negotiate your ministry freedom. You have to have the level understand how ministry works for you and understand the dynamics so that they can work with you on those bases. If not, they will do whatever they want. They are also an independent body, so they think different, they think strategic, they think profit. So if you don't spare out these things, you will find yourself wanting. Then number five, if a deal looks too good to be true, then it's probably true. If it looks too good to be true, then you are right. It looks too good to be true. So take some time. People overpromise, and that's the problem. Don't just hear verbal talks. Document everything and make sure that before you sign it, everything is clear. Even the day that they have to sign, read the final signing of fine print before you sign, so that you are sure that nothing is altered. After the signing, make sure you retain a copy of your own contract, because it will be very stupid and foolish. And I'm going to join some few people to slap you if 5 years later you don't know where your own copy of the contract is. And so they brought a forged a forged contract, and you are saying, "Oh, you forged this contract. This is not how we did it." Where is your own copy to say that this is the original contract? You see what I'm saying? The numbers don't lie, the facts don't lie. You have to understand these different things. And of course, are record labels good for you? Absolutely. Just find a good one that you think that can fit yourself, and see if you can do work with them. But most importantly, fine tune yourself, because not every label will come for you, because you've been there hoping that they will come and even give you a bad contract, but they're not even coming to offer you a bad contract because your gift is not fine tuned. Refine yourself, build yourself, develop capacity in yourself, and don't just sit and wait for record labels. Start investing in yourself, but do it in quality and in excellence.
Amen to that.
Right. Now
Amen to that.
I'm going to give this advice, which was the advice I was saving for the end. And here is it. You have to understand goals and purposes in life. You have to understand that. And you have to be smart as an artist. You don't have what it takes. You don't have what it takes to get yourself to the top. But you can have people that can get you to the top. So you have to know how to also benefit from when opportunity hits your door. Meaning that if a record label comes knocking at your door and they present you with a 5-year contract and say your percentage is 15%, right? And you know that you're not going to make any money from the contract. There is something that you're going to make from the contract that the record labels cannot make. It's a popularity. You are the face of the product. So you are the product. So it means that if I was you, the artist, and I'm already in a record label and I have 5 years, I will serve my 5 years diligently, faithfully, clearly, because the label will use all the resources they will use to get me to the top. Once they've gotten me to the top, even if I made no money, I now have what it takes to make money. So I can now go as an independent artist to make money. When I saw Mercy Chinwo fighting with Easy T, I was so disappointed in her. My disappointment in her is not because she's going back to take some crumbs in the name of $200,000 or whatever and so on. She has what it takes to collaborate with anybody in the world, to build an entire new catalog and make millions of dollars by herself. She has all it takes. So she could have just abandoned this thing. Say, you know what? This is a lot of mess I don't want to drag myself into. I have what it takes. And I go do my thing. She could have served her contract to the end, which she did, and live peacefully. And if she has the power to go legally to fight those things, she goes. But if she does not, she just leaves it right there and starts afresh. Because when she started afresh, what the songs she has already done by herself without the label are blowing up out there.
Yes.
It means that with consistency, Pastor Gilbert, in the next 5 years, that woman is going to be a top dog in the industry. You can do that. Stop going back to fight on the crumbs when you have the masterpiece now in your hand. You've been with the label for so long. You've known better. You've learned the nuances of the industry. You have the name, the popularity, the following. You have what it takes to build an empire. So you must have a goal as an artist. The goal could be that you've given yourself 5 years signed with this company. After 5 years, no matter what they take from me, when I'm done with them, right, I will now truly do me. I will now truly do me. That's what you should be thinking about. Stop causing chaos by year 4 or year 3. All that sympathy you're looking for on Facebook, you are destroying your career. You are destroying your future, because there are industry professionals that will not partner with you because you're already associated with negativity. There are people that will not come close to you for even brand ambassadorial deals because you break contracts. Because no matter who is wrong in the contract, if it's not proven by a court yet, it means that you have the ability to want to pull out of contracts. So it means that MTN Cameroon will not want to sign a deal with you because you have an ability to become scandal. What if tomorrow you wake up and you draw MTN to the court of social media and you start crying there that MTN did this to me, MTN did this to me? What you don't understand is that you are ruining your own career. So what happens? I'm giving you guys this as your brother. Take this from me, my friends. Build yourself. And while with the label, forget about the crumbs you are getting. If you are getting crumbs, forget about those. Get the crumbs, but serve your time. In the time that you are serving, take advantage of the opportunities and the networks. Build yourself something so that when you're out of there, you spring forth. That is how you win. Think smart. Work smart, not hard. Don't be emotional. Coming on Facebook and crying will not please me, because already me, there are some people that I will not do me a collaboration, Pastor Gilbert, with anybody that is coming on Facebook and crying. I will not want to do that. These are affiliations. In this business, reputation is everything. Don't play with your reputation. Build yourself. Don't come and start to garner social media sympathy, so just so that the court of public opinion, who are people that are swayed by emotions, are swayed by popular demand, will sway and support you. And then what? It doesn't change nothing.
This is wisdom right here.
It doesn't change nothing.
Man, this is wisdom, right? You see, the things you're bringing are things that we would not see with the ordinary eye. But here you are. Look at the things you're touching.
Yes,
We
sir.
never even thought that this scene that is being put up could instead damage her reputation, And artists would not see that. We would all say, oh, yeah, we sympathize with you. Oh, this is so bad. The record label did you so much harm and all of that. But you, as a professional, you're saying that there are people that will just shy away from associating with her just because of that attitude that has been put out there.
Yes,
and
sir.
she could be right or wrong. We don't know.
Yes. Oh, yes. There are pastors that will never want to invite her. I tell you the truth. There are some spiritually sound men of God that will not want to do that. And that's why I'm giving this advice. And that is a smart thing a lot of American artists do. A lot of American artists are bleeding. Companies, labels in America bleed artists to zero. But they have goals. They stay in the label with a purpose. they have goals. You know Americans, right? They don't.
Yes.
So when they sign it, they can sign that they'll take 3%, but they take that 3% consistently for 5 years, and the contract expires. They have made the name.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Because you cannot get there. You say right here. You have a calling, but you need someone to get you upstairs. You need someone to get you. So do the needful, accept the deal, eat the crumbs, whatever is being offered. But at the end of the day, you have a goal.
Yes. Oh yes. I'm going to round up with this. While you all are on social media, you guys have to be very, very careful with social media. Stop taking your private battles to the court of social media opinion. The social media court is the most dangerous place to fight your battles. Why? Because number one, it is, Pastor Gilbert, write this down for me. It is never about the truth on social media. It is never about the truth. It's about who can control the narrative. Number two, it is fueled by emotions, not facts. Social media is fueled by emotions, not facts. Number three, it destroys reputation permanently. It's a permanent damage to your reputation. Even after the issue is resolved, it is a permanent damage. Number four, it turns complex matters into trending gossip. These were things that were not supposed to be in the public eye. You're coming and saying that this man did this man is coming and saying that you did this. This is not correct. It is completely a destruction to the entire career, and it destroys your reputation. And I'm saying this clearly. I don't know if you are listening to me, but that's the reality. So when you take your business to your business disputes to social media, like your personal conflicts or contractual issues, what happens is that you are not looking for justice, Pastor Gilbert. You are looking for validation. I tell you the truth, and I'm going to say this blatantly and bluntly. When you bring it to the court of social media opinions, you are not looking for justice. You are looking for validation. You want to make this is what you're trying to do. You want to make a case before an audience that will take sides emotionally. You're on social media to gather support based on sympathy. You're coming to that why you can even cry. You are coming to cry, not actual evidence. So you are using, the worst is that you are using spirituality or victimhood to manipulate public opinion. You get? That is what both of them are doing, and that is why I am highly disappointed in both of them, because they should know better. Social media, Pastor Gilbert, is not a place for fairness. It's never fair on social media, because you have a bunch of people with free data ready to say nothing and insult you. I watch massive insult on both platforms. Once the public pick a side, there is no room for balance. It's never fair. Social media is full of people who don't care about your truth. I tell you this. They don't care about your truth. They move by emotions. They are just entertained by the drama. They don't care about what is happening to you guys. So you guys can destroy yourself. It doesn't mean social media will not be able to fix your issues. People have to understand this. It will only create more confusion, more attacks, and more division and destruction to your reputation. I'm saying this to say that people have to understand that people who don't know you personally will start to judge you because you've taken your situations to social media. People who don't know you personally will take sides based on their emotions, not facts. What happens is that your words will never be forgotten. That cry that you've cried there will never be forgotten. Future opportunities will be affected. Pastor Gilbert, I'm begging everyone that had the privilege to listen to our live stream today to know better. When you do better, when you know better, you do better. There are two groups of people that I always talk to: the informed and the uninformed. It's about time you get from the side of the uninformed to the side of the informed, so you can make better informed decisions about your future and your career. If God has truly called you, know what you want. Be intentional about what you want. So when you sit with record level executives like myself, you should be able to look at me in my eyeballs and say, Mr. Julius, I love you, sir, and I love the incredible work you're doing. But I'm about to place my destiny into your hands and my ministry into your hands. What are you going to do for me? I need to understand it, because this is what the Lord has instructed me to do. And I have to see to it that this assignment is done. If you are coming in as a facilitator to this assignment, let's get to work. I know that there will be benefits to this. I'm okay with these contractual obligations. Let us assign this, and assign this so that we can both benefit from this thing, because the Bible says our gift will make a way from us. But let's not exploit man. Let's do this for the sake of the kingdom and continue to go forward. So this is my passion. Can you do this for me? And if my answer is no, walk away. If my answer is yes, document it, and we move forward without all these emotional roller coasters and all these nuances and all of that. I tell you this, my advice to you, to everybody as I end, is that stop fighting battles with emotions. Stop trying to win social media sympathy. Stop allowing fans and followers to dictate your decisions. I'm telling you, because there are some things that you cannot undo anymore. You have to think ahead, you have to think long term, and you have to think about your legacy. That is all I have for you all today. And thank you guys so very much. Thank you so much, Pastor Gilbert. It was really, really an awesome time. We're going to find more time to keep talking about this great stuff. But I myself, I'm really happy with the knowledge that we've consumed here today.
This is just amazing. Thank you so much. And we really appreciate. Final word, how can someone reach you, just maybe in terms of the music career, or just for advice or anything else? All right, I think he's gone right there. But you can always reach Mr. Julius on his social media inbox. Send him a message out there for even advice with your career, and you may be faced with some of these. And of course, he's a record label. You can reach out to him for this kind of advice with things that are related to these, and you will certainly get some good advice right there. We've had a great time today, more than a plate full. And in case you join late, please, I will tell you, the best of this is just for you to watch the entire live stream. It's going to be uploaded in a few moments after this. It's been a great time on this topic today. Should gospel artists avoid signing under record labels? We just don't even know what to give as a summary right here, because it's been all over the place. But like I said, watch the entire live stream. Thanks to everyone who was joined from Cameroon, from Europe, from America, from every part of the world. It's been an amazing 2 hours and a couple of minutes over. Thank you so much, and watch the entire live stream. So far, it's been Empowerment Hour, and I believe that today we've been so empowered. Thanks to everyone who joined amazingly. Thank you to all those who sent us stars. Stars help us to keep producing, and we are so grateful that you stopped by today. Thank you, and God bless you. We'll see you next Monday with another topic on Empowerment Hour. Goodbye. It's Gilbert Samba from this end. Bye-bye.